I'm Ronnie, the Director of Customer Success here at Plus This, and I'm here today to bring you your campaign of the month. Sorry we're a little late this month. We have been expanding the team here at Plus This. We have a new member of the Customer Success team. Her name's Courtney, and she's going through her training right now and almost ready to get online and start helping all of you to be successful. So one of the big things that we do in our department is not only just answer your questions in regards to how to build your campaigns, issues or concerns that might come up, as well as, well, if there's any technical issues that arise, right? But we also want to make sure that you're utilizing the software to its full capacity. Plus, this can do so much, and it can be a little overwhelming sometimes, right? And we want to make sure that you're able to fully consume it and understand what it is and the strategies behind each of these tools that you have at your disposal. So today's strategy is actually going to cover a couple of our brand new tools that have just been developed over the last couple months, including our Calendly integration, as well as our Zoom meeting integration, which is different than Zoom webinar for those of you who are not familiar with that. Now, what this campaign is actually going to do is teach you the strategy behind automating setting up appointments. Now, for those of you who are scheduling appointments all the time, it can be a bit daunting sending emails back and forth, rescheduling, having to make sure they have all the information, creating your meeting links, etc., right? What this campaign is going to do is automate that whole process. So all you have to do is look at your calendar each day and show up to these appointments fully confident that your clients have all the information that they need to not only show up themselves, but to show up ready to actually have that meeting. So here we go. All right. So now you should be looking at the Entreport campaign. Now, like we've mentioned in our previous renditions of our campaign of the month, we are going to be building this campaign in one of our platforms, and we'll be rotating through them on a monthly basis so that we get exposure to all 5 of the platforms that we integrate with. However, all the strategies that we'll be going over are actually fully capable in all of the platforms that we integrate with. So if after this video you would like to see how this specifically integrates with one of the other platforms, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. We will be more than happy to walk you through how this can actually be done in the other platforms. The strategy is the same, much of the actual workflow is the same, but there definitely are nuances that are going to be different on a per platform basis. So this time, it's going to be inside of Entreport. But like I said, reach out to us if you need something more specific with the platform that you're working in. For those of you who don't know, we integrate with Infusionsoft, Entreport, Drip, ActiveCampaign, and HubSpot. So let us know what you'd like to see next. Now, this campaign is going to start off with this scheduled consultation tag being applied. Once that tag is applied, we are going to then send a webhook that creates a Zoom meeting. This is going to be one of our Plus This features that we'll be building in just a moment. This will actually create a Zoom meeting and store the information inside your platform, in this case, Entreport. We are then going to wait until a goal is achieved, and the goal is going to be that the Zoom meeting register tag has been applied. That now ensures that our meeting has been registered, and we can go ahead and send our email confirmation. Now, this email confirmation is going to be able to include information like the join link, for example. So that you're aware, you don't necessarily have to send this email confirmation. However, if you would like to, you can also send it via SMS. So in this particular campaign, we're building it out so that you can see we're sending both an email and an SMS. The reason being is SMSs, text messages, actually have a much higher open rate than your standard email. So if you want to ensure that your appointments are receiving the detailed information you'd like to send them, that can be a great way to increase show-up rates. We are then going to be waiting 1 day until the appointment time. Now this right here is actually going to be waiting 1 day until the appointment time that's stored in a custom field. So the appointment time is actually going to be stored by Plus This in this custom field, so it's going to be unique to each contact. Now we can send both a day before reminder email and a day before reminder text message to, again, try to increase those show-up rates and automating this process. Then we'll go ahead and wait till the day of. and we'll send a morning of reminder. So now it's the day of their appointment. That morning, we'll go ahead and send an email. Now in this particular campaign, I am not sending a text message just because depending on who you're actually interacting with, these are going to be sent on either yours or the contact's time zone. And if you're sending it at 9 a.m., that could be 6 a.m. someone else's time, and sending a text might not be the kindest thing first thing in the morning. So I'm just sending an email in this campaign, but again, you could send a text message if that works for you and your business. Now, I'm waiting again until a goal is achieved, and that goal is going to be that they either completed the appointment, they missed the appointment, or they canceled the appointment. Now, these 3 tags and these 3 goals are all going to be tracked by plus this. The completed appointment tag will be tracked by our Calendly integration. The missed appointment tag will be tracked by our Calendly integration. And the canceled appointment tag will actually be, our completed appointment tag will be tracked by Zoom. Missed appointment will also be tracked by Zoom. And our canceled appointment will be tracked by Calendly. And then you can send different follow-up accordingly. Now, what you send after these is completely up to you. I've simply put in an email here so that you can see that you can follow up with them differently. These emails could be trying to get them to reschedule or thanking them for meeting the appointment and just doing like a quick follow-up there. Whatever you would like to automate in this process is completely up to you at that point. But you'll notice, and this is pretty key, that at the end, I remove all the tags that I've been applying throughout this campaign. The reason I do that is because when you're scheduling appointments such as this, if the same contact wants to schedule another appointment with you for some reason, they already have those tags, this workflow or campaign won't function properly because they already have the tags. So by removing them all, it now allows them to go through this process again if they ever schedule another appointment with you. Then, you may have noticed, I had this second column happening simultaneously that almost looked identical to the first. And it is identical to the first in most ways except for the content. And this is that they rescheduled the consultation. So through our Calendly integration, we can tell if they've actually rescheduled the consultation. And if they do, it's going to be the exact same workflow that they were going through before, creating the Zoom meeting, sending out the reminders, all of the above, but we'll want it for all of the new time. So if they reschedule the appointment, we're going to be replacing all the information, which is why it's going to be a slightly different workflow. And then when you come down, you'll notice, though, that when they get to the end of this, it's still going to go through the same tag goals for canceled, missed, or completed. All right, so now let's go ahead and go through this step by step. Now, this campaign is actually going to be started by a plus this integration. So I'm going to hop over to plus this, and you'll see that I'm in our configured tools. I'm going to jump into one of the configured tools. I've configured all 4 of these ahead of time to save some time. But for those of you who don't already have them configured, you can go into the campaign toolkit and type in the search bar to find the connections and triggers that you want to actually utilize in this campaign. So I'm going to hop back over to my configured tools. And the first one I'm going to start off with is my Calendly connection. Now, in my Calendly connection, I'm going to actually have it pulling and creating an event for this 30-minute meeting. So inside of Calendly, you're going to already have these event types created. They have some defaulted, like 30-minute meeting, 15-minute meeting, etc. But if you want something more specific, you'll go into Calendly and create that meeting for yourself. What's really cool is if this contact does not already exist in Ontraport or one of your other automation systems like Infusionsoft, Drip, ActiveCampaign, or HubSpot, we'll create a brand new contact record. So they can be signing up as a first-time contact and still have all of this happen inside of your marketing automation platform as long as we create a new contact record. This is where it gets really cool. this is how the campaign actually starts working. We are going to save the start time and date in a custom field. So now you'll see I've got this custom field, Calendly start, and this is going to be the date and time that this appointment happens. I'm then also going to be saving the pretty version of this start date and time. So the pretty version is just a nicer version of what that date and time can look like, just so that you know, but you actually don't have to have anything there. If you're comfortable with the standard format of your marketing automation platform's time and date fields, then that's perfectly fine. And I'm going to save the end time. Now, again, I don't necessarily have to save this end time for this campaign to function because everything's triggering off of when it starts. However, if I want to include like this appointment will go from this time to this time, I can utilize that merge field to allow myself to do that. And then finally, I'm going to be applying a tag. This registered tag is what does trigger portions of the campaign, as you saw before, and so this is going to be important. Now, this second part is the rescheduling aspect of it. So what would you like to do when the customer reschedules? I have it toggled to update the original contact record if the contact information is different. So this way, I can still use my same fields, Calendly start, Calendly end, and this Calendly rescheduled. So if I reschedule this whole process, I can now go back in and it'll start the campaign on the rescheduled line as you saw in the campaign before. And all of the fields will be updated accordingly, so I don't have to utilize new custom fields in order to make this process function. You'll also have some additional information here that you can store. If they cancel, you can store the cancel reason if you'd like. You can also store the time that they canceled. But the important piece is applying the tag that they canceled. This tag is what's going to move them through to the canceled section of the campaign that we built. And again, finally, there is some additional information that you can be storing in Ontraport. If you want to save the contact owner, so if you have multiple Calendly accounts, we can save the contact owner in a custom field. We can save the event name. We can even save the event duration in the fields. So those are all additional pieces of information. Some of you may use them, some of you may not. In the campaign I'm showing you, we won't be using them, but so that you're aware, all of that is possible. Then we're going to save the tool. Now, unlike most of our tools, this doesn't actually require anything else to happen. It is now live and functioning. So if you now put your Calendly scheduler on your webpage and someone signs up, this is now going to function by storing all of the tags and information in the custom fields inside of your marketing automation platform. So nothing else I have to do there. But what this is doing is this is actually going to trigger this campaign. So now by hopping back over to Ontraport, you'll see that this whole campaign is triggered by the scheduling consultation tag being applied. And if I go back over to plus this, that tag is going to be this Calendly registered tag right here. So that's actually what's starting this whole process. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next tool. The next tool is going to be the Zoom meeting tool. So if I hop into our Zoom meeting tool, you're going to see that I can now choose which host is going to host this Zoom meeting. So if you have multiple hosts in your Zoom meeting account, you can toggle between them as follows, but you'll be able to select which host you would like to be in your Zoom meeting account. You can enter a topic for this meeting. So whatever you want to title this meeting, whether it's a 30-minute consultation, whether it's a meet and greet, anything you like, but this is going to be the topic of the meeting. You even have the ability to have a password. So if you're going to password protect this meeting so that people can't randomly join, if they happen to get the link or anything like that, feel free to. I don't know how many people are sharing schedule links, but it's a possibility. Then you're going to be able to select the date and time field for this start meeting. You'll notice that I've got our Calendly start time in here. So when they scheduled our meeting through Calendly, this Zoom meeting is now pulling that start date and time from Entreport and using that start date and time to schedule this meeting in our Zoom meeting account. I can choose the time zone that that date is stored in and how long I want to create this Zoom meeting for. So in my Calendly integration, I said it was a 30-minute meeting, so I'm going to make this a 30-minute Zoom meeting. If you want to account for some buffer time or some overage, obviously feel free to. It's completely up to you, but I'm just going to have it 30 for 30 for this demonstration. And then you could apply an agenda. Again, I'm not going to type in an agenda, but this is going to be more specific to you and what you're building this, this campaign out for. Now, do you want to register the contacts for this meeting? Yes, I am going to actually register them for this meeting, and that's because it's going to apply this Zoom meeting registered tag, okay? Now, this is important because if I hop back over to my campaign, you'll see that I'm using this webhook. This webhook is called an HTTP post in Infusionsoft, for those of you who aren't sure. And this is what's creating this meeting. And then nothing else is happening after I create this meeting until I have my Zoom meeting registered tag applied. So to make this campaign move through the process, I am going to be making sure they're registered and applying a tag that they're registered. Now, you'll also notice we have some information that we can store. I am only storing the join URL. So this is the link that your contacts can click on when they're ready to join the meeting. I'm not going to store a password because I didn't password protect my meeting. I'm not going to store the meeting topic or the meeting agenda, but if you want to include those in your emails or text messages, feel free to store those in custom fields. That way you have that available. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to apply a tag if they attended my meeting and apply a tag if they did not attend my meeting. So now, towards the bottom of the campaign, like you saw before, I have the ability to actually segment how I'm following them. So if they showed up to the meeting, I can follow up with them one way, and if they missed the meeting, I can follow up with them a different way. And just so you know, with the Calendly integration, when we applied that cancel tag, that's what's triggering this side, since I'm showing that now. All right, so I'm going to hop back over to plus this. After I name and save this, I am going to be given a tool URL. All right, all I have to do is click this button to copy this code right here, come back in, and if I scroll all the way back to the top, scrolled a little too far, there we go. All I have to do is click on this webhook and paste it right inside of there. Once I do, I'm good to go. Same thing in an HTTP post or webhook in our other platforms. All you have to do is paste that code in there and save it. And then you should be set. And the moment a contact hits that, it's going to schedule that Zoom meeting. Now, so a lot of people have been asking questions about the difference between a Zoom meeting and a Zoom webinar. And the difference primarily is that a Zoom meeting is going to be one-to-one. Okay, so with our Zoom meeting integration, you can create a one-to-one meeting. So it's not going to work if multiple people are clicking on that link. It is intended to be one-to-one. And a Zoom webinar is more of a presentation, so it's a one-to-many. There are obviously differences between Zoom meeting and Zoom webinar just in general. But for those of you whose webinars are small enough that you think you can use Zoom meeting for it, this integration won't quite work in that regard at the moment, at least. So that you know, again, Zoom meeting is going to be one-to-one, and Zoom webinar is going to be one-to-many. All right. Now, a lot of you who use Calendly already are probably wondering, why would I actually need to send my information or the follow-up from Entreport or from Infusionsoft or any of the other platforms? And the reason being is you have a lot more control over the customization. I don't know how many of you have actually seen a Calendly invitation for an appointment, but it looks like this, right? So I get an email that says new event, and it's very bland and cut and dry, right? Has all the information I need. I can even store join links in there, but I don't have any control over how that looks as the person who's sending this to my clients. And it's branded as Calendly, which isn't necessarily a problem if you're okay with that. However, if you want a more controlled experience, if you want to have a much cleaner, nicer looking email that's branded to your company, that's what this is going to help you to accomplish. Everything is going to be controlled inside of your platform, inside of Entreport, and you're going to be able to use your images, your logos, your verbiage, and be a little bit more direct and specific with it. So rather than having what you're seeing on my screen right now, you can have something much cleaner and more specific to what you're doing. So with all those tags now being applied by those two tools, I can now customize this entire experience myself. Also, for those of you who don't have the advanced version of Calendly to send SMS, you now have the ability to send SMS through Entreport. Now I'm going to go ahead and build out my SMS feature. So I'm going to hop back over to Plus This and go back to my configured tools. And you notice that I have two different send SMS features configured here. If I go into this first one, this is going to be the message that I am sending to schedule them for or after they've scheduled the appointment. Inside of Plus This, we are going to make sure that it's the contact record that triggers this feature is who we're sending this to. And you'll be able to select the field that the phone number exists in. Many people store those SMS numbers in a different field, just in case someone puts their business line, their landline, or anything else in there. You can be confident that this is an SMS number. So I'm choosing the field that I have my SMS number stored in. I'm defaulting my country code to the United States or Canada, but as you see here, we have a number of countries that you'll be able to select from. And I'm going to choose the phone number that I'm sending this message from. So you'll own all of your phone numbers with through Twilio if you're using Plus This as SMS. And so if you have multiple phone numbers, you'll just select which one you want to send this from. And finally, I'm going to type my message. So what's great about sending these text messages is, again, it can actually be very specific. Hey, contact first name. So this is a merge field used inside of Entreport. Same with any of the other platforms. You'll just select them in this drop down here. And I can even type in name if I know exactly what the field I'm looking for is. Looking forward to getting to know you better. Our appointment is scheduled for, and since I have the start date and time stored in a field, I can now use that again in a merge field as well. And you can join the meeting by clicking on the join link in your email. So I can put the join link in this text message. The reason I'm directing them to their email is because, well, they're going to have a much better experience if they're on their computer for this meeting rather than trying to join it through their phone, right? And if I'm sharing the join link through my phone, it might give them the wrong idea of where they can actually join that meeting from. So I'm directing them to their computer, to their email to join that link, but feel free to customize this message however you'd like. For those of you who don't know, MMS is for multimedia, so images, GIFs, videos, things like that. If you wanted to include that in here, you have that option. For mine, just being a simple, hey, thanks for scheduling type of text message, not going to worry about that. And if you want to apply a tag when they've opted out of receiving text messages, or if it's invalid phone number, you can do that as well. Now, I'm going to save this tool. And you'll notice this looks very familiar. I'm going to have a tool URL. I'm going to copy that. And in my webhook for the send SMS confirmation, again, I'm just going to paste that right there inside of the destination. All right. Now, again, it's going to wait, and I'm sending another text message the day before. So if I go back over to Plus This, I've got my day before message. This will all configure the exact same way. but the message is going to be different. So now I've changed the message to can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. Don't forget our appointment is at this time. Check your email for more information. Or I also send the reschedule link. So now I'm giving them the opportunity to reschedule. And I'm doing this for two reasons. With it being the day before their appointment time, one, I'm texting them to try to increase the show up rate. However, if they know that they can't schedule or make that appointment at this time, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to reschedule. That way, it shows that, hey, if you're going to reschedule on me, I'm going to make it easy for you. That way, we can respect both of each other's time. And it gives them the opportunity to be like, you know what, this is important. I do want to actually make this appointment. I jumped the gun. Let me reschedule. It's pretty easy. It's already right there, right? So just making it as easy as possible, and again, trying to increase those show up rates. All right, so we have all four of the plus this features or tools configured now, and you'll see that we've got them all saved here. So for this particular campaign, we created a Calendly integration to schedule people for our appointment, a Zoom meeting integration in order to automate the creation of a Zoom meeting and store the join link in a merge field so that I can send them the appropriate information. Both of these allow me to now move through my campaign automatically. So as the person who is running these meetings, all I have to do now is show up, and I can trust that all the reminders, all the join links, all the information that they need to show up is available to them. And even the follow-up and rescheduling process is all automated as well. And I've got my text messages, and we recommend utilizing text messages to increase show-up rates for your appointments. Don't quote me on the specifics of this, but the average open rate for an email is approximately 20% last time I checked. And that's just like the worldwide average for automation. And the average open rate for a text message is actually somewhere in the 90%. So that's a pretty significant difference there. So we just do it to try to increase our show up rates and recommend you do the same. And then now my campaign functions all the way through. So a lot of this is actually going to be able to be done right inside of your automation platform, choosing the tag goals, sending your emails, all of that. But in order to actually move them through this campaign automatically, that's where Plus This is going to come into play. By applying the appropriate tags, by creating the Zoom meeting, by storing the information in merge fields for my emails, etc. Plus This now made scheduling my appointments and rescheduling my appointments seamless for my customers, and made the experience even better by allowing me to customize those emails and text messages through Ontraport or any other platform so that my customers know that I mean business, that I'm a professional. I've got my logos in there, my verbiage, and I can address them however I want to, rather than leaning on Calendly or any other appointment software that you utilize there. So I really hope that you enjoyed this month's campaign. It seems like a little long as I scroll through this. There's definitely quite a few steps, but once you've got this actually built out, all you're going to have to do moving forward is actually show up for those appointments. It's going to make your life a lot simpler, save you a lot of time in rescheduling, jumping back and forth, trying to coordinate emails, making sure they have the appropriate join link, or even remembering to go and create the join link. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced 5 minutes before you forgot to create your meeting link and you're running around trying to get that created, making sure they have it, and are they going to open my email 5 minutes before our meeting? Maybe not, right? But with Plus This, it just made it a lot simpler. Thank you all for watching this campaign of the month. Again, if you have any questions on this campaign, please reach out to help@plusthis.com or go to help.plusthis.com and submit a ticket, and we'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions on this campaign or walk you through how to build this campaign in one of the other platforms that we did not demonstrate today. Thank you all for your time, and look forward to talking to you later.